Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well, and the NFL season is just around the corner. So that means college football is just about here as well. And with the 2023 college football season coming up, I wanted to start on a watch list of sorts, a list of prospects that I think are at least interesting for the upcoming 2024 NFL draft. So I made a couple videos months ago talking about some of the interesting guys in the draft, but now I want to expand on that list significantly. I got a list here of 70 players. I got a list of 70 players at positions that are likely going to be of some degree of need for the Seahawks next offseason. So I want to go over this list here, just kind of get you guys looking in the right direction when it comes to guys that may be of interest to the Seahawks in the upcoming draft. And we've got a full slate of college football games this year to watch to figure out who's going to go where, who's going to prove themselves to be worthy of being considered a top pick, who's going to maybe fall off, who's going to stay where they are. So let's just go ahead and get geared up for this now, because I know that there are a lot of people who watch my videos who watch college football anyway, and then there are the people who aren't really into college football outside of how it can affect the NFL. So they watch college football to figure out what players they want to add to their pro team. They don't really have a college football team. So to those people, I like to go ahead and set up a watch list so they can get an idea of who the interesting guys are. So like I said, this list has 70 players on it. As the year goes on, more will be added for sure. By the time we get to the pre-draft portion of the offseason, I'm probably going to end up taking a look at over 200 guys. So a lot of guys are going to get added. But those guys, a lot of the guys that get added to that list, the 150 or so that get added during the season, need to assert themselves during the season. I can't say whether or not they're worthy of looking at for draft purposes now because they haven't done it yet. And what they do in 2023 will define whether or not they are interesting to look at for the draft. So this is just kind of the list going into the season. So keep in mind, there are going to be guys who get added. There are going to be one or two guys who get taken off, of course, a lot of them because they get injured. Maybe there are going to be some guys who are so bad they get benched, and then you really lose interest in them, whatever. But I wanted to go ahead and just dive into what I have so far. So these are the 70 guys that are starting on my watch list for next year's Seahawks draft. Quarterback, I got 15 quarterbacks. A couple of them have basically no chance of being available when the Seahawks pick. I don't think the Seahawks are capable of being so bad they get a top 5 pick. Even if they get ravaged by injuries, I think Carroll would get them to at least 5 wins. So understand that there are going to be some other guys in this video as well who I'm not saying there's any realistic chance the Seahawks could get them, but you can't talk about this upcoming draft without talking about those players because they are so good as prospects. So Caleb Williams of USC and Drake May of North Carolina are the top QBs in this draft by a pretty good margin. Caleb is pretty much guaranteed to go number 1. Quinn Ewers is the other guy who's logically going to be a first-round pick. Very likely that he ends up somewhere in the latter half of the first as of right now. Bo Nix and Michael Penix both have second-round grades, both kind of system quarterbacks, but both at least worth watching. I like Penix a lot more than Bo Nix, but they both have this whole year to prove me right or prove me wrong. J.J. McCarthy and K.J. Jefferson are third-round guys as of right now. By the way, the draft grades that I have on them right now are from the aggregate NFL mock draft database. So keep in mind, those are going to change radically for a lot of these guys. This is just kind of where we are right now. Riley Leonard of Duke and Jordan Travis of FSU round out the third-round guys. Those are guys who are probably going to be day 2 picks as of right now. And then you get into your sleeper quarterbacks. I've got Joe Milton, the guy replacing Hendon Hooker in Tennessee. Spencer Rattler, I wish I knew how to quit him, but I don't. 4th-round guy as of right now on the aggregate. Tyler Van Dyke, very interesting guy here. We know that Cristobal has a system that makes quarterbacks look worse than they are, so he may end up being a day 3 pick that you can get, and you get him in the pros, and suddenly he looks way better. Which, I mean, it would be like a very extreme version of what happened to Justin Herbert, right? Devin Leary, the guy replacing Levis at Kentucky this year. He transferred from, the Tar Heels, I think it was, last year. No, not the Tar Heels, the Wolfpack. And he was really good last year, worth keeping an eye on. Cam Ward from WSU. I actually really like Cam Ward. Definitely going to keep an eye on him. And my super sleeper at quarterback would be Grayson McCall of Coastal Carolina. Right now projected to be a 7th round pick if he's lucky. I really liked him last year. So Grayson McCall could be like the super sleeper you get at quarterback and somebody who develops into being a quality backup, if not a half-decent starter. So those are my quarterbacks as of right now. Now moving on to the next position of note would be tight end. We need to flush our whole tight end room this offseason in all likelihood. We have 2 free agents, and we have 1 guy on a big contract where we can save a lot of money if we let him go. So we might lose all 3 of our tight ends this offseason. So looking at the tight end position, you got Brock Bowers, far and away the top guy here. Going to be very hard to get a high enough pick to get him, but worth at least thinking about because he is by far the top tight end in this class. Jatavion Sanders of Texas, going to be a first-round pick as of right now. Jaheim Bell of Florida State, third-round pick. Brevin Spann-Ford of Minnesota, also third-rounder. Oronde Gadsden, the second from Syracuse, third round. Bryson Nesbitt of UNC, third round. Get down to the day 3 prospects. You got Cade Stover, a guy who I really like as a potential Will Dissly replacement, somebody who is a good blocker, somebody who provides a little more size and strength on the edge from Ohio State. And then Caden Prescorn of Mississippi, also a 4th-round prospect as of right now. So those would be my tight ends. Moving on to the next position, I think we need to think about going into this season, left guard, because both of our rostered left guards right now that are NFL caliber, Phil Haynes and Damian Lewis, are free agents next year. So I really want to take a look at some left guards here. I got 6 of them. Donovan Jackson is the one guy who's got a first-round grade on him right now from Ohio State. Cooper Bebe is playing tackle for KSU right now, but I think he would make a great left guard. Graham Barton from Duke, also second-rounder. Christian Mahogany, also a second-rounder. Jordan Morgan, Arizona. Javion Cohen, one of my favorite guys from last year who didn't declare. It transferred to Miami from Alabama, also currently projected to be a third-rounder. I think all 6 of those guys would be really appealing in this system as a left guard. Some of them are playing tackle right now, by the way. Believe me, I understand that, but I think they'll make better guards in the NFL. All right, now we have a few centers. Not a lot going on here. I don't know if center is going to be a huge need, but Evan Brown is in a contract year, so we're probably going to need to add a center to some degree in this upcoming draft. The top guys are Cedric Van Pran of Georgia and Zach Frazier of West Virginia. Van Pran in particular, I think, would be an amazing fit for this offense. So if you decide you want to stack behind Oluwatimi or maybe even in front of Oluwatimi next offseason, Van Pran, I think, would be awesome. Zach Frazier, not as good of a fit, but still a really good player. And then you got Bryce Foster of Texas A&M. He's kind of your semi-sleeper, 4th-round guy as of right now. So those are your centers. I also have a few right guards as well. Right guards are a little bit easier, understand, because right guards are kind of everywhere. It's pretty easy to find a competent one. But assuming we need a right guard next year, right now the only right guard we have under contract that is potentially NFL caliber is Bradford. And Bradford may or may not be ready next year. He's so raw, I don't know. But the top guys to me are Brandon Coleman of TCU, Tate Ratledge of Georgia, and Dylan McMahon of North Carolina State. So that's basically everybody on offense that I have my eye on as of right now. Those are the positions that I have my eye on for this upcoming draft, and those are my initial offensive watch list guys. All right, now let's jump on over to the defense here. Got some interesting prospects going on here. Nose tackle guys for me are Tylik Williams of Ohio State and Nazir Stackhouse from Georgia. Both those guys projected to be 2nd-round picks right now. Also got Tavondre Sweat and Donley Corleone, who has a really cool name. I kind of want to take him just for that. They're both 3rd-round guys as of this moment on the aggregate. So actually, it's a pretty good nose tackle draft, honestly. Like, you got 2 2nd-round guys and 2 3rd-round guys. That's better than usual. These are all guys who are 320 plus, so they are legitimately sized nose tackles. Defensive line guys, pretty decent crop here. The top guy right now is Mason Smith of LSU. He's projected to go in the top 15. We'd have to have a bad season to get him probably, but it wouldn't have to be that bad. It's not within the realm of impossibility. The rest of the first-round guys would be Michael Hall Jr. from OSU, Jerhan Newton from Illinois, Jerzon Newton from Illinois, and Leonard Taylor from Miami. We got some second-round guys, Rook Horo from Clemson. They got some very interestingly named guys at Clemson most years, it seems like. Tyler Davis, also from Clemson, and Brandon Dorless from Oregon, second round guys. A couple third round guys as well are Chris Jenkins and Mekhi Wingo, Michigan and LSU. So if you're looking to add to the defensive line next year, I would start with these 13 guys and go from there. Linebacker, inside linebacker guys, it's a pretty decent crop. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. of Clemson and Barrett Carter, also of Clemson, are your top guys, both projected to be in the first round. Got one second rounder here, Tommy Eichenberg from OSU, and a bunch of third round guys right now, Smael Mondon Jr. from Georgia, Cedric Gray from UNC, Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma, and Junior Colson from Michigan. So it's a pretty good linebacker class. It's, I think, better than last year. Not as good as the year before. That was a special linebacker class. This one has a chance to be close to that. So not a bad year to go out and get your linebacker. Next position is edge. And I understand, let me just say this real quick. We don't really need an edge player right now because we've got a lot of young, interesting quality guys on this team already at edge. They're still on rookie deals. Nwosu just got extended. However, edge, I think, is a position where you can never really have enough. And if there's an opportunity to get a really good edge player, I don't think you would pass it up just because you already have a lot of good edge players. It's going to be so easy to get these guys on the field. It's going to be easy to trade one of them if you need to clear space. I think if you have a chance to get a top edge player, you will generally take it, which I can't say about some of these other positions. So understand, I'm not saying we need an edge, not any more than we need a receiver or a running back, but it's just a unique position. So there. So if you could get one of the top 5 edge guys in this draft, especially if you could get them at good value, I don't think you would pass it up. Jared Verse of FSU projects to be the top 5 guy, best edge guy in this class. He would have been a first-round pick last year if he came out. You got Dallas Turner from Alabama and JT Tumoalalu from Ohio State, both top 15 guys right now. Braylon Trice from the Washington Huskies, top 20 guy right now. And Damian Robinson from Penn State. And by the way, I know I'm butchering some of these pronunciations, but they're hard. He's projected to be more like an end of the first round guy. But those are your top 5 edge guys. And if you have a chance to get one of those guys at good value, I think you do it even knowing that your edge room is pretty full. Last position we're going to do here is safety. So a lot of good safeties in this draft, actually. It's a great safety draft, I think. One first round guy is Cooper DeJean from Iowa. Got a first-round grade on him right now on the aggregate. Second-round guys are Andrew Mukuba from Clemson, Cameron Kinchins from Miami, Kalen Bullock from USC, Javon Bullard from Georgia, and James Williams from Miami, and Cole Bishop from Utah. A couple of third-round guys are Rod Moore from Michigan, Tyler Nubin from Minnesota, and Malachi Moore from Alabama. So that's basically it for the initial watch list for me. And I also sorted them by school to get an idea of which schools are kind of must-watches if you want to see a lot of intriguing Seahawks potential prospects. So my must-watch list is OSU, Clemson, Miami, and Georgia. My should-watch list is Texas, Michigan, UNC, LSU, Duke, and FSU. My good-to-watch list is Illinois, Oregon, USC, Minnesota, Washington State, Washington, Alabama. And my can-watch list, a bunch of guys that only have one prospect that I'm not even necessarily completely in love with, would be Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Coastal Carolina, Syracuse, Mississippi, Kansas State, Boston College, Arizona, West Virginia, Texas A&M, TCU, North Carolina State, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Iowa, Utah, and Penn State. So if you guys think that I missed somebody who's really, really appealing, really, really interesting, really like of interest to the Seahawks in particular, given their current situation, let me know. Let me know who you like, maybe. I know that there are other really good players in this draft, like Marvin Harrison Jr. I know that we have some pretty good running backs in this class. I know that there are other really good players at other positions. There are 2 top 10 tackles in this draft. Joe Alt is one of them. But understand, I'm looking at this through a Seahawks lens, trying to think about the players that we might need, thinking about the positions that we might need at least some degree of help in. So with that in mind, let me know if you guys think I'm missing the boat on somebody here. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, go Hawks. That is my initial 2024 draft watch list. Have fun watching college football this year.